on, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul Sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, Step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Knick family. Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the MBK family. So I said last night that if the Knicks needed to blow San Antonio out, and that if they didn't blow them out, I would be super upset and I would be coming in hot. However, I'm not. You know, there's just some teams that you just don't match up well against, and some teams that just give you the business, you know, and last season that was Orlando for us. And this season, it seems like it's San Antonio. We just weren't able to shake them. The Knicks were able to pull it out, you know, 117 to 114, but it went all the way down to the end of the game in order to secure that victory. And as a matter of fact, San Antonio outscored us the second, third, and fourth quarter, not by a lot. I think it was they outscored us by 3 points in the second, 2 points in the third and fourth. And it was because the Knicks had that 10-point first quarter, or ended the first quarter up by 10. That was the margin of victory, 3 points. So we'll talk, more about it. I just want to shout out those that's in the chat already. Some of them, as soon as I logged in, was already here. Deron Wayne, appreciate you. Pudge Nice, Geraldine MacGyver, Jerrell, resident panelist, Dope Soul Sports Talk. We have our show tonight, our weekly show. Jeff Clafter, Tim Smith, Keith Turner, and Ashley Inc. Is actually in the building. Appreciate you guys. All right. Let's just quickly get into the setup. The Knicks came into last night's game 20-18, 8th in the Eastern Conference, 5-5 over their last 10 with a win streak of 2. The usual starters, Brunson was back for his second game. Quickly started at shooting guard because RJ Barrett, quickly started at shooting guard. Grimes at small forward because RJ Barrett remains out. Randle at the power forward. Mitchell Robinson at the center. Even though Mitchell Robinson only played 13 minutes, was in foul trouble through most of the game. For San Antonio, 12-25, 14th in the Western Conference. Over their last 10, 3-7. They came into this game having lost their last 2. They started the same starters they started the last time we played them about a week ago. Trey Jones, Romeo Langford, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, Jacob Portal, and Devin Vassell remained out. All right. Let's get right into the individual stats, and then I'll check in with the chat. Brunson had a career high 38 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 63% from the field. I mean, there wasn't really anything that, they could do with him. Just 3 for 7. Is that correct? 3 for 7 from the free throw line. That's just not good. The Knicks only shot 65%. Anyway, I think there was some concerns that, Brunson has a difficult time with length. He has a difficult time with physical players. And I just don't see it. I think when he's healthy, when he's fully healthy, he can get to his spots against anybody, and he can get his shot off against anybody. There's games when he has struggled with that, but I don't know if we can say definitively that he struggles with length all the time. He struggles with physical guards all the time. I think when he's 100% healthy, I don't really think it matters who you put on him. I think his handle is such, his shiftiness is such that he can get to his spots, and with that fadeaway, he can get his shot off pretty much against anybody. And we saw that, last night. Randle, 25 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 4 blocks. I mean, talk about engaged and talking about being a two-way player. That was Julius Randle last night. Now, he didn't shoot well. I think he was 9. Is that correct? 9 for 26 from the field. Wow. 26 shots. He hit 9. He did not shoot well from the field. I think from the 3-point line, he was 1 for 8. But you can not shoot well and still play well. And that was Julius Randle last night. He did not shoot the ball well. He had a chase down block. He had actually 4 blocks in the game. One of them was a chase down block right off of a turnover. They passed it to him. Maybe he didn't come to the ball. Maybe the pass was short. Who knows? But it was picked off. And he chased the player down and blocked the shot. He had 4 blocks on the night. He had 3 steals on the night, right? 13 rebounds, 25 points. He was just, you could just tell he was lathered up and really into last night's game. And we needed it. We only won by 3 points, right? So I love the way Randle played. He didn't score in the fourth quarter. Brunson did the heavy lifting in the fourth and at certain points throughout the game. And I didn't see Randle have a problem with it. Remember, when Brunson was out, we went to Randle pretty much every time down. Now Brunson is back. There's times when he has the ball, and I don't see Randle having an issue with it. He still put up 26 shots, right? And in that third quarter, I think, one of the many runs that San Antonio had in the game, he had 3 straight baskets to kind of keep us in the game, just to make sure we didn't get out of it. So I love the way Randle is playing. Quickly, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. Now, and only 1 turnover. So that's 5 assists, 1 turnover. And I think I'm just getting to the point where we know who Quickly is, right? And I think if you could live with a little over dribbling and just chalk that up to that's just his game. That's just what he does at times, nowhere near the way he used to do it. If you could just get used to that, or I can just get used to that, you can see the other parts of his game that have really blossomed, and particularly on the defensive end. He is a joy to watch defensively, just the ground that he covers and just his defensive IQ. I don't know what his catch and shoot numbers are now. I know early in the season his catch and shoot threes weren't good. But like I've said, to me, it seems like whenever he's open and they pass it to him behind the 3-point line, for the most part, it goes in. He's a really good player. He's adamant on being a point guard. Tom Thibodeau said he's a basketball player, point guard, shooting guard. He could play both. He's a basketball player. I see it as well. He could play both, point guard in a pinch. I know there's some fans who think that he could lead a team, as a point guard. That's totally fine. We can differ in opinion, but he's a really good basketball player. And I like him actually playing both the 1 and the 2. But and Quickly said he'll do it. Wherever you put him, he's going to play that position, but he sees himself as a point guard. Grimes, 14 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 3 3-pointers. I just love this kid. I just love Grimes. Did you see him, when he got the ball late in the shot clock? I think, 7, 6, 5 seconds, and how he was able to create his shot and finish at the rim. He can do more, but right now he's playing his role. This is his role right now, playing off of these guys, and that's what we need. We got really, when RJ Barrett comes back, really 3 players that play the best with the ball in their hands, and you need some guys to play off of them. And that's what I like about Grimes. He can do that. He can play off of those guys, but he can create a shot as well. He can put the ball on the floor. He has really good vision, and he's a 2-way player. So I really like Grimes. Robinson, 13 minutes, 4 points, 5 rebounds. It was just a rough night. It's like right out of the gate. How people say his shooting range starts as soon as he gets in the gym. Well, the fouling for Mitchell Robinson started as soon as he walked in the gym. Before you knew it, boop, 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 3 fouls, right? I mean, he had 2. He was taken out of the game. He came back in and on like the very first possession, picked up another foul. So it just was not a good night for Mitchell Robinson. And he'll bounce back. He'll be better Hopefully so. We're playing Toronto, who's another team that I'm not sure how well we match up against. But Sims and iHeart, in his absence, I thought played relatively well. Hartenstein had 19 minutes, Sims 22 minutes. So between the both of them, they played 41 minutes. 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, and a turnover for Hartenstein. 4 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 blocks for Sims. So between the two of them, 12 points, 12 rebounds. Actually, McBride, 10 minutes, 3 points. Fournier, 11 minutes, 6 points. 1 for 5 from the field, 1 for 4 for 3. I mean, he played 11 minutes. He got up 5 shots. And they were good shots. I didn't think he forced them. They were within the flow of the offense. Had he knocked down, a few of them, it would have gave us a little more breathing room. But kudos to him. He was 3 or 4 from the free throw line. And he went to the line in the waning moments of the game for 2 free throws. He made 1 of them, which put us up by 3. Had he made both of them, we would have been up by 4. But even just 1 to put us up by 3, really helped. Let me check in with the chat. Jeff Clafter, appreciate you. Mitch being in foul trouble kills our defense. Yeah, our defense, I think Mitch was in the game the last time they killed us. But again, we were coming off the Dallas loss, and Mitch really looked sluggish in that game. He didn't look sluggish today. He just got into foul trouble. It's me. I just want the efficiency Hawks to give RJ the same leeway as Randle. Not sure I understand that. Sherwin, Obi was a coach's decision. He warms the bench. I hope to see more of that if he can't defend. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about, Obi Toppin, who was available for this game. And Tibbs said prior to the game that he was situational. And that can mean a few things now, right? Sometimes situational means that, you're available. If there's an injury, extenuating circumstances, you'll play. And sometimes situational means under no circumstances will you see the floor, which is what we're witnessing with Cam. Though in all fairness, I think this with Cam, it's a front office thing. We'll talk more about Obi. Grimes, JJ, appreciate you. Grimes could do way more if Brunson and Randle would play team ball. Yeah, we'll talk about the offense as well. Tim Smith, IQ continues to improve. I like him starting. Yeah, I think the only issue is that we're just getting shorter and shorter as the season goes on. In that starting lineup between him, Brunson, and McBride. Brunson. We're just really, really short. Ashley A1, appreciate you. Wiz, West Coast. Brunson put up 38, and we barely won due to a 5-second violation against San Antonio. We have work to do. We do. We have work to do. Though you take them how you can get them. I do think that we have to get better closing games. We have to hit our free throws. We did not shoot well from the free throw line. We shot 55.4%. We went to the line 26 times. We hit 17 of them. Right? That's 9 missed free throws. That could help. That can give us, more of a cushion, and those misses was throughout the game. But there's been times for the Knicks in these really close games. Now the strategy could be foul them. Foul any one of them. You look at Brunson free throw shooting over the course of the season, you're like, okay, don't foul him. But if you look at him recently, I think he's 8 of 18 over the last 4 games. So that's these 2 games and then the 2 games that he played. Or something, something of the sort. It's not good. It's not good. So that could be a strategy for teams if they're able to hang close with the Knicks down the stretch, start fouling them. They'll hit 1 of 2. They might even miss both, right? So we definitely have to get better in that respect. Jay Boogie, again, Happy New Year, blessings, health, and happiness to you all. Have a wonderful day. Signing off. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. I appreciate you. Jay Boogie, Stafford Don. Good morning, my brother. Hope we see you tonight. I know you got a lot going on. Brunson and Randle is now the 24th best defender in the NBA this season, his worst defensive rating in 4 years. Historically, and Sharon, we go back and forth, with this. On-ball defense, yes. Historically, Randle has been a decent on-ball defender. Off-ball defender, in my opinion, he's just been terrible. Well, historically. Earlier in the season, he was a hot mess off the ball. However, over the past 20 games or so, or whenever that starting lineup changed, or whenever we went on that 8-game winning streak, his defense to me has been really, really good, both on and off the ball. Right? He's been engaged, especially last night. He was just a terror. Just in terms of his engagement, just in terms of him, getting after it and getting to his spots and just the extra things, 3 steals, 4 blocks. But overall, I think his defense has been much better. But the Knicks as a team have slippage. There's some games in which their perimeter defense is on point and other games when it's not. Keith Turner, appreciate you. Hope all is well. People overlook the Spurs. That's what the Knicks looked at them like it was going to be a free lunch. Definitely the first time. I don't think the second time. The second time, I think the Knicks were prepared and they still gave them the business. Tim Smith, Spurs seem to have 20 players the same size and skill set. They're pretty pesky, well-coached team. Yeah. Salute, JJ. An ugly win. But how do you guys feel about it? I forgot what show we were on with, Uncle Fulio. Shout out to Josh. And he said that he prefers, even if the Knicks lose, as long as they're playing well, I guess, hitting their foul shots, moving the ball, things like that, showing toughness, that he's okay with it, right? And I guess there's some people who feel like that. We lost the game, but we played together, we played defense, we were in the game, we just lost. And they would take that over an ugly win, or win where you weren't really moving the ball or moving your bodies. You were missing free throws. Your defense wasn't great. It was just a sloppy game, but you were still able to pull it out, right? For me, I'll take any type of win because in the NBA, you have to learn how to win games different ways. That's just it. It's 82 games. You're playing a lot of different teams with a lot of different skill sets. Each team plays a little different. Sometimes it's going to be a clean game where you're clicking offensively, you're clicking defensively, you're efficient from the field, you're hitting your free throws. Fine. But how many games are you going to have like that for any team? Sometimes you have to win ugly. So I'll take an ugly win over a good loss anytime. That's just me. Brunson's defense is better than I thought. He is small and slow, but his defensive effort is there. Yes, Sherwin, that's what I've always said about Brunson. Whatever he doesn't do is just because of his physical limitations, right? He's somebody who tries to move his feet laterally. He tries to get thin over screens. If he is picked off, he does try to get back into the play. He gives up his body, on charges. But he just has some limitations. Shout out to Harlem Girl listening behind the scenes. Welcome back. Appreciate you. All right. I don't think there's anything else I want to point out other than the minutes. Grimes played 37 minutes. Randle, 41 minutes. Mitchell Robinson, 13, but that was just due to foul trouble. Jalen Brunson, 40. Emmanuel Quickly, 45. So the starters are still racking up a lot of minutes. Hartenstein played 19 minutes, McBride 10, Evan 11, Jericho 22. How do we feel about that? I mean, on one way to look at it is we have to get these minutes down. In the long term, it's going to bite us. And I do agree with that. But that may mean losing games, right? I mean, Randall's played 41 minutes. Brunson played 40 minutes, Quickly 45. Those were our top 3 scorers in the game, right? You lessen their minutes. Can McBride fill in admirably? I mean, for what he does, it's good. I appreciate that. Fournier, maybe, if he gets his legs under him, he's looking better. His shots just didn't fall, but they were good shots. I think right now with Barrett out, the minutes are going to have to be a bit high for now. But let me know what you guys feel about that. We're going to talk about Obi Toppin as well, who was back but did not play, as I mentioned earlier. Ashley Inc. Facts IQ 45 minutes is insane. What's the alternative, though? What's the alternative? You're going to play McBride more minutes? What are you going to get offensively from McBride? You're going to play Fournier more minutes? Maybe. That may have been where you could have gotten more minutes offensively. Defensively, he tries as well, but there are physical limitations there. And Emmanuel, quickly, say what you want about his shot selection and the dribble. His defense is really, really good. Watch him. Watch IQ. Just follow him around for a few possessions defensively. So I'm not sure what the alternative is. I think we got to open up that rotation. But listen, let's just get into it. Let's just get into it now. I don't have much to say about Sims, but I just wanted to change the picture up. So I put Sims. In here. So in terms of bringing the minutes down, remember that we're at Cam is out of the rotation, right? That's somebody that can help us both offensively and defensively. Rose is out of the rotation, right? I don't know if he was still injured last night or if he was suited up. Somebody let me know. Was Rose available last night and just didn't play, or is he still out injured? But for the most part, Rose is out of the rotation. Fournier is out of the rotation, except for these, last few games where he's getting 10 or 11 minutes. That's where a lot of our scoring would come from, where you can afford to kind of sit the starters a little bit. And remember, you had RJ Barrett in the starting lineup and IQ was on the bench. So on that bench, when we started the season, before we went to the shortened rotation and moved players out of the rotation, on that second unit, you had IQ, you had Cam, you had Fournier, you had Rose, right? So when you looked at our bench scoring compared to other teams, we were probably top 5, top 10 in the league. I think last night, what was the bench? The difference was 61 to 21 bench points. Now, a lot of that is because, again, quickly is starting now. Rose and Cam is out of the rotation. And Fournier, basically he's out of the rotation. So... And the people we do have in the rotation, they give us good defensive minutes, Sims and McBride, but you can't really count on them for points. You can't really count on iHeart, for points. Even though I think the Knicks can use him a bit better, still, you're not getting 12 points for Hartenstein. So that second unit, even when RJ comes back, you're going to move IQ. Basically, IQ is going to be the only scorer in that second unit, unless Fournier stays in the rotation. And this brings us to Obi Toppin, right? So Obi Toppin, prior to his injury, was averaging 7.7 points, 3.8 rebounds, 1 assist, shooting 42% from the field, which is not great, but 35% from the three-point line, which at one point was the league average. I don't know if that still was the case. And so you had a little more, and that's true. I mentioned all of these other players that was in the rotation to start the season, and Obi Toppin was in the rotation as well. And if you remember, Obi Toppin started off as our best three-point shooter at the time, right? So that second unit right now was totally changed, which puts a lot of pressure on our starting unit, and they have to play a lot of minutes, because if you take them out, you're risking basically losing the lead because the players you're putting in just can't score. They just can't score. You can't expect a lot from Sims scoring wise. That's just not who they are, right? So how do we feel about Obi Toppin being back and not being in the rotation? We talked a little bit about this a few games ago. what's going to happen when Obi Toppin comes back? Does that mean Sims is out of the rotation? Do we expand the rotation? And there were some who said, yeah, I think we need Obi back in the rotation. We need offense in that second unit. But there were a lot of fans who felt, what Sims brought in terms of defense. And remember, our identity has changed a little bit since, I don't know, Obi hasn't been out that long. How many games did Obi miss? Right? Did we become this defensive-minded team while he was here, or did that occur when he was injured? I'm not sure. Somebody, help me with the timeline. But we're a top 10 defense right now, 8. So, but we're struggling on that second unit. Do you put Obi Toppin back in that rotation? By expanding it, or do you keep it at 9 and take Sims out? What do you do? I think it's an intriguing choice. Bayside Jr., Obi will be back. The iHeart Sims duo is one of the worst statistical duels in the NBA. No way Obi doesn't play. Yeah. I mean, offensively, I can't argue with you, but defensively and rebounding wise, they do it. Nah, keep him on the bench. Keith Turner, you're bad when you get injured like RJ, and some fans want you to stay gone because the team plays better without you. I don't think so. I mean, I think the Knicks are doing all they can to stay afloat with RJ Barrett out. I think when RJ Barrett comes back, things can ease up a little bit. Think about the heavy minutes, players are playing now because RJ Barrett is not here. RJ Barrett comes back, maybe some minutes can go down a little bit. And you're always a better team when you have one of your top 3 players playing on the team. And, whether you like RJ Barrett's game or not, he is still one of the top 3 players on the Knicks. And prior to the injury, was playing really, really well. His game may not have expanded as much as we liked it to expand, but the things that he did, he was doing it much better. Finishing at the rim, hitting his catch and shoot threes, free throw shooting. Ashley Inc., there are very few current NBA players who can stay 40-plus minutes a game and stay healthy. Age is not the issue. Physically, they could survive, but mental focus in the end game. Yeah, mental focus, is an issue as well. All right. Sherman Steph, Obi is shooting 42.1% from the field. All he does is shoot threes and dunks. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you, Sherman. As much as we do need more offense in that second unit, I don't know if it should come from Obi. Because I just feel like, if he was giving us those threes, and even if it was threes and dunks, but he was defending his position and rebounding, no problem. And maybe if you're going to add him in and not take Sims out, you're going to expand the rotation to 10. I'm okay with that. Because then I think you kind of get the best of both worlds, but who are you going to play him with? Usually you play him at the 4 with iHeart, or you play him at the 4 with Sims, right? So maybe iHeart goes out of the rotation and you play Obi and Sims, and as much as we bang on iHeart for his defense, Obi's defense is worse, in my opinion. At least iHeart is between his man and the basket. They score anyway. That's my running joke. He's where he's supposed to be, but they score anyway. You don't even know if Obi's going to be where he's supposed to be. And that kind of messes up the rotations a bit. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. Ajay, salute to you. The Knicks are 7th in net rating in the entire NBA without a star. Yeah, definitely. And talking of net rating, I think offensively, things may have changed since I ran the numbers, because I ran the numbers last night teams were still playing. But I believe the Knicks are top 10 in offense. But what I want to talk about when I say concerns on offense is just how our offense is run. It's like almost it's your turn. No, now it's my turn. Between Randle and Brunson, not a lot of ball movement, not a lot of player movement that we saw in the beginning of the season. And I'm not saying it's an issue. I just go back and forth between, is that the best way for us to play in the long game? You think about, for the entire season. One argument is, who are you passing it to? So you're going to play this equal opportunity offense where you're passing the ball around. There's a lot of ball movement, a lot of player movement. And then whoever has the, disadvantage, they take the shot. That's the type of game you want to play with this, with this team where, Quickly's been playing well as of late, the past, 3, 4, 5 games offensively, always good defensively, in my opinion. Grimes, second-year player, can you really count on him each and every game? Though I think he's been in double figures the last 2-3 games, so he seems to be coming along, as well. So you want to pass the ball around, all of this player and ball movement, but who's taking the shots? Like, do you really want Grimes taking as many shots as Brunson, IQ taking as many shots as Randle? Is that what you really want to do? The flip side of that, though, is Brunson gets the ball, and these guys, and don't get me wrong, Brunson and Randle are willing passers, right? And they know how to pass. Sometimes you could be willing, but you can't execute the pass. They can execute the pass, right? So if there's a double team, they will pass out of it. If they're driving and someone is wide open behind the 3-point line, they're going to give it to them. It's just that when they have the ball, it's just they're the point of attack on offense. It's just them. And everybody else is playing off of them. And that may happen 2, 3, 4 possessions in a row for Brunson. Now it's Randle's turn. Now he's the point of attack. And now it's 2, 3, 4 possessions for him. It's not a lot of fluidity, even between Randle and Brunson, right? There's just not a lot of fluidity in the offense. So the Knicks, in terms of assists, and then I'll see what the chat has to say. In terms of assists, the Knicks are 24th in assists, 20.9 a game. By comparison, nobody's Golden State Warriors, but they're 29.4 assists per game. The Knicks are 24th at 20.9 assists. Their assist percentage is 24th, right? That's the percentage of a teammate's field goals that are assisted on, right? So it's a lot of one-on-one to start the offense. I hope I'm making myself clear. I'm not saying that those guys are selfish. They will pass. It's just that they're the point of attack for the offense. Yeah, they're the point of attack for the offense. So I'm not sure. That may just be, these are the type of players we have. This is best for us. It's successful for us. We're top 10 offense playing this way. If you're really interested in this topic, be sure to tune in tonight, 9 p.m., the Just Nicking It show, where I'll break this down even further and talk about what our offense has been through the first 10 games, 20 games, when we changed the starting lineup, when we went on the 8-game, winning streak, so we could see where's our offense ranked as of late, right? Overall, it's 10th ranked. But over the past 20 games, what is it? I don't know. I haven't crunched those numbers. But it's just something that I've just noticed, this your turn, my turn offense. How well is that going to play when we play tougher teams? How well is that going to play in the playoffs? But for right now, it's working for us because when those guys do get the ball in one-on-one situations, they're very successful. Can you argue with success? But how sustainable is it? All right. JJ says, I'm sorry, but it's not an enjoyable offense for me watching Brunson and Randle ISO all game, stopping ball movement. Yeah, I mean, just win, though. Just win. I mean, the question is, does that give us our best chance to win? Right? You're moving the ball, you're moving your bodies for who? though. That's I'm being devil's advocate, JJ. That's just the flip, the flip side of it. And I don't know if I want to say ISO ball in a sense that they're going just for themselves, because they will pass the ball. They will pass the ball. It's not like, give Brunson the ball. He's not looking for anybody. He'll pass the ball. If you double team him, he's going to pass it. So, and the same thing with Randle. If you double team him, he's going to pass it. But it just starts with them. It just starts with them. Less ball and player movement than in the the beginning of the season. Bayside Jr., I need Grimes to get 8 threes a game. He does 8 threes a game. He does need to take more shots. Keith Turner, the Knicks don't care who you don't like, not just RJ. They have to play them to make them an asset in the trade. I get it, Keith. RJ's not your guy. I don't think that's why they're playing RJ, or maybe I'm misreading what you're saying. Okay, we talked about that. Quickly is still taking stupid shots. I mean, much less than before. I mean, listen, Quickly is he's another Randle and Brunson. It's my turn now. It's my turn. And he will also pass the ball also. But it's my turn now to initiate the offense. And you guys are going to play off of me. Randle and Brunson aren't playing team ball. You know what? I don't think they're selfish players, though. I mean, and think about Boston a few years ago, and in no way am I saying that Brunson and Randle is on the level of Tatum and Brown, but that's how they played for a significant period of time. It was Tatum's turn, then it was Brunson's turn, and then over time, they learned how to move the ball, and they were still able to get to their spots and get their shots, but the offense was a bit more fluid. And that's just something the Knicks needs to figure out. But the Knicks need more players to make it more fluid. Mitchell Robinson is not going to score. Grimes will. Right now you got Quickly, but he plays a different type of game. I think part of it is that we got guys who need the ball to be effective. And I don't know how that changes. Maybe 2 guys who need the ball and the other 3 can play off. How about passing to Grimes? They do, but I hear you, not enough. The team literally had 16 assists yesterday. Yeah. Like this was the extreme version of your turn, my turn offense, right? 16 assists. Pudge Nice, still need a star. Name 1 star who's available. Yeah, but we still need one. But I get you. 1 isn't available, but we can definitely use someone. No ball movement whatsoever with this team. Not sustainable for success. I hear you. And again, I'm playing devil's advocate. But I don't know right now if moving the ball around is going to get us wins right now, because we just don't have those type of players, offensive players anymore. So we'll see. For the love of the game, appreciate you for stopping by. The upside is the bench players got more minutes to better prepare them. Brunson's still hurt. They can't score that much and stop opponents. Where is the other guys? We need defenders. We do need defenders. It's hard to say you need. I still feel like we need more people who can shoot the ball. We're a top 10 offense. I still feel like we need more players who can shoot the ball instead of having players that have to have the ball in their hand to create, right? If we can get both of them in the same package, which is what I've been advocating for, defenders who can also shoot instead of defenders who can't shoot and shooters who can't defend, if we could start bringing in 2-way role players, I think that would solve both of the problems. Those guys would be able to play off of these ball dominant players, and they can also defend the position. All right, Jerrell, the Knicks don't care if you personally don't like RJ or Obi. They are definitely playing when they are available to play. I agree. I really thought Obi Toppin would play now. And it wasn't even like no statement was made about Obi Toppin. And so you could just assume first game back, it's going to take him some time to get back in the rotation. A statement was made. He's situational. Now, I don't know if Tibbs would say that if that meant he's just trying to get his legs back under him, or, he's coming along, when he's, once he's practiced, a little bit, he'll be back in the rotation. From the jump, he said he's situational. That's like when Tibbs says that, that's like a mark in the sand, like it has to be some extenuating circumstances for you to be back in the rotation. So Jerrell, I could see a world in which we expand the rotation so Obi can play. But that statement makes me think that it might not happen. It's me. Let's stop. RJ's the only Knick who puts constant pressure at the rim. Everybody else is spot up J's and step back jumpers. Obi might not play next game, but they have the weekend off, so he will definitely be back by Monday, the latest. Book it. Let's see. Players logging these types of minutes isn't sustainable. Both RJ and Obi will get burned when they come back. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. And I haven't heard any updates on RJ Barrett either. All right, the Knicks are, I don't know if this is to say, I did this, there was games still going on when, let me see. Yeah, the Knicks are still in 6th place in the Eastern Conference. But like we talked about, 6 through 12, depending on how you're playing, it can change. Look at Toronto now, 12th place. Washington, who was out of the playoff hunt, right now clinging to a 10th place spot, tied with Chicago. Right, it's gonna be really tight. And the Knicks are actually tied with Indiana because of the tiebreaker that they're in 6 as opposed to 7. So we'll keep a watch on this. But again, 6 through 12 can change depending on how the team plays. All right. Next game, Toronto, Friday. The Knicks right now are 21-18, 6th in the standings, 5-5 over their last 10. They've won 3, 10th in offensive rating, 9th in defensive rating. The last time I ran the numbers, remember there were games still going on when I did this. Toronto 16-21, 12th in the standings. Really haven't been playing well. Over their last 10 games, they've won 3 games out of 10. They've lost their last game. They're 15th in offensive rating. They're 18th in defensive rating. If you look at the numbers, they just haven't been playing well as of late. And on the season, they're a, average offensive team and less than average defensive team. However, there's some teams that just give the Knicks problems. And I think with their length and their defensive ability, and the fact that we don't move the ball and move our bodies a lot, that makes us easier to guard, actually. So, they're going to put, Van Vliet on Brunson. He may not be taller than Brunson, but he's physical as well. And he can move his feet and make it tougher for Brunson. Then they could put Scotty Barnes, on Brunson, who has length, right? With Julius Randle, you got Siakam, you got, Scotty Barnes, you got OG Anunoby. You understand? So, they have the defenders to make it hard for Brunson and Randle, right? And so this is really when you do want to move the ball. Not that you can't get it back, but make them work a little bit. Pass the ball around, make them work a little bit, shift the defense a little bit. The ball is going to come back to you anyway. So let's see what the Knicks do. I expect, I haven't heard anything about RJ returning. So still Brunson at the point guard, Brunson and Quickly at the guards, interchangeable. Grimes at the 3, Randle at the 4, Mitchell Robinson at center. Hopefully Mitchell Robinson rebounds tomorrow night. And the projected starters for them, Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., who I don't think played the last time we played them, Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, and Pascal Siakam at the center position. Now, if this is going to be the starting lineup, this is going to create matchup problems for the Knicks, right? Who's Mitchell Robinson guarding? You know, Siakam, they start him at center, but he can shoot the three. That means Robinson has to go out and defend on the perimeter. You know, he could put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket. You know, so it's not just like a three-point shooter, but a three-point shooter who can also attack the closeout, right? So that's going to be a tough draw for Mitchell Robinson. You could put Randle on Siakam. Then you're going to put who? Mitchell Robinson on OG Anunoby or Scotty Barnes. You know, I think it's going to be, they can defend the Knicks, especially the way the Knicks play offensively. And the Knicks going to have to go, all five of these guys can score the basketball. And all five of these guys can defend. Though Gary Trent Jr., at least early in the season, Nick Nurse wasn't very happy with his defense. But overall, he can defend, right? Pudge Nice says to put Jericho on Siakam. Are you starting Jericho? Because Siakam is starting. And he's going to play the bulk of the minutes. So are you going to play Jericho the bulk of the minutes over Mitchell Robinson for this particular game? That's the question. JJ, that's a brutal matchup. Siakam at the 5. It really is. It really is. Paris Doug, it shocks me how people don't understand the ball finds energy, creates better shots, which improves shooting percentages. Who the heck thinks so players ball stopping is a good approach? Yeah, I definitely hear that. But who's gonna score for the Knicks? You know, and I was on this train earlier in the season. Move the ball, move your body. What are you gonna get? You know, I mean, I get it, and I kind of agree, because you do want to make the defense work, and the ball can still find your best players, and that's my only argument. You want to move the ball, you want to move your body. That's fine. It does make the defense work. I just don't want a situation where it's an equal opportunity offense and where you got I do think, sorry about that. I do think that your best players should take the most shots. Now, how do you do that and still move the ball and move your bodies? The Knicks have to figure it out. The Knicks have to figure it out. All right. Let me just shout out the chat before I get out of here. Tonight, the Just Nicking It show, me, Stafford Don. I know he's been busy. Hopefully he can make it. Jerrell, Tsunami, hopefully she's feeling better and she can make it. And anybody else who wants to, I try to keep it at 6. So if there's anybody else who wants to hop on, just DM me. I will send you the link. But let me just shout out Josh, aka Uncle Fulio. Appreciate you. Parrish Duggar, Keith Turner, JJ, Greenie from Long Island, LI. Appreciate you. Jerrell. Yes, we are in the playoffs. Sherwin, for the love of the game. Sean Kearns, Pudge Nice. Who else? Trav B. Ryan. I appreciate you rocking with me this morning. Keith Turner. Still Knick fans. Ron in the house. I appreciate you. Ally Wise. I may not get to everybody, but I definitely appreciate you. Ashley Inc. One Wiz from the West Coast. I appreciate you. I know it's early over there. Ajay, Harlem Girl, Baysider Jr., Tim Smith. I'm hoping I got to everybody. Well, you know my heart is in the right place. I appreciate all of you for rocking with me. Tonight, again, the Just Nicking It show, 9 p.m. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications button. You'll be notified whenever I go live. Friday, MBK pregame show to break down the Toronto game. And then Saturday morning, I'll be right back here for the morning recap show. Peace, fam.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.